I've been asked a whole lot of questions around this particular topic, which is around finding motivated sellers that will give you a good deal. Within this video, I am going to be talking about motivated sellers. I think we need to start off by having the conversation of who is a motivated seller. According to Uncle TJ, my thinking is that a motivated seller is anyone and everybody who does not want their property. That's my thinking. Step number one of that. So if they don't want something, they are motivated in terms of selling that. Welcome. My name is TJ. Now, who are these famous people? I do think that there is a bit of a number of people that can actually be labeled as motivated sellers. And my question is, who are these people, or how do we identify that they are motivated? So I want to jump in actually and talk about that, because I do think these motivated sellers are everywhere. You might not be able to identify them yourself, and within this video I am going to show you how best you can identify them. So there are a little bit of some famous ones, and that you'll be like, yes, you're right. And the famous ones for me is, number one, people that are going through a divorce. Yes, they are motivated to sell. Why are they motivated to sell? It's because they do not want to be together anymore. Back in the days, they were, everywhere. But these days, they don't feel each other. So they're basically now wanting to move on with their lives. And for that reason, whatever assets that they have, this could be blocks of flats, this could be their current home that they're staying in, it doesn't matter. The point is that because they are now motivated to go on with their lives, they are also motivated in letting go of this property that they have. It becomes your opportunity, but we'll dive into that. Another famous people that I also think that are a little bit motivated. There are plenty of them. I'm just giving you like the famous ones so that you can be able to identify them when you do see them. It is people that inherit something. It might be a property. I want you to think of this as a young person. You yourself have gone through and you are now, let's say, staying in Australia. Or maybe you're a young executive, and out of that, what you're trying to figure out is you had a granny, and that granny have left you with a property, and it could be in a township, it could be a farm, it could be somewhere out there where you don't connect yourself. Those people, they do not want to be associated with that property. They want to move on, and this was an inheritance that they received, and they are wanting to move on. That person could also be motivated. The last one that I'm going to share with you within this space here, before we actually jump on to speak about how do you then know that they are motivated, right? So I'm giving you scenarios here. They might be divorced, they might have received an inheritance. The last one is that it might be a deal that has gone wrong. So it's another investor or a wannabe investor, and they're jumping in and they're seeing this deal and they're like, I want to jump into it. But as they've jumped into it, somewhere along the line, the deal doesn't work. For that reason, they are motivated to sell, because basically that thing is now a hot potato. Yes, and they are wanting to sell it. Now, how do you know? So as you go to these properties, how do you know that these people are motivated? I'm going to give you my own 3 steps. Right, there's plenty of them, but I'll give you my 3 steps. Number one is that, which is a very obvious one, you will see with the state of the property. So you're going to get there to the property and you're going to look, and you will see that the people have checked out. The property hasn't been looked after. Everything is just wrong. And that's how you can see that they are motivated. The second one is that you can see with their type of engagement. When I'm saying type of engagement, when someone is checked out and you are engaging with them, you can see that they're gone. I'm going to give you an example. One property that I bought not so long ago, and basically a diplomat used to own this property, and he used to own this property. This is like a story in the explanation, right, for us to get the context of the deal. And basically with this diplomat, he used to own this property with a partner of his, and that partner of him has checked out. Now the diplomat came through to the property for me to see the property. He had the keys with the estate agent, and bingo, the diplomat refused to come out of the house. Why? I mean, out of the car. Why? He didn't want to come and see the building because the building was in a disarray position. It was just rundown. He didn't believe it. He has never been in that property for the last 13 years, they said. So he couldn't believe it. So when I saw that, I realized, you are motivated. So I immediately put in my offer on the spot, right? Negotiated. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is giving you a little bit of good information, now is the time to hit the like button. But as I go on, I want to stress out the figure. I want to stress out this. As I go on, I want to stress out the point that now you have identified that they are motivated. They're a motivated seller, and we have now identified how you can do it. The other point now that we can now get into to say, how does it become a good deal? Right? How does it become a deal? You have seen that they are motivated, and now you have seen the characteristics of how they can be such kind of a person. But now, actually, I want to give you another point, especially on the how do you see that they're motivated. If you had to check for their bills as an example, you will see that their bills are just high. They're like assuming that, I don't know, someone's going to pay the bills for them. So they've checked out. They are gone. And for that reason, they are hoping that if they sell the property, I've never bought a property that is where the seller is not motivated and the bills were paid up. No. It's always the other way around. Where the owner is motivated, their bills were high. But obviously, as you know, that when you are buying such kind of properties, it's not your responsibility to pay for those bills. It's their responsibility to finish off the transfer, and they will pay that. So never worry about that. But how does it become a good deal? That's the question. Well, number one, right? It can become that because now you can be able to change the property into its former glory. Remember, all properties comes through and they were in their former glories. They were good. People were paying rent and all of those things. But that's now the opportunity that is there for you to turn it around. You can be able to see one or two things that you can change. Maybe it's about security. Maybe it's about painting. Maybe it's about increasing the living space on the property. Whatever it is, you as an investor, you can now see, and because the other guy is motivated, you can see that if you're to change it around a little bit, there's a little bit of gold here. Over and above that, you could also look into the same property and you could say, how best can I change it? So could you change it into another purpose? Right? So you're now looking at the opportunities on the property itself, and it doesn't necessarily mean that if the owners of this property are motivated, it's always going to be a good deal. Some other people could be motivated, but they are spiteful, which then means that a property that might be worth, let's say, 5 million rand, and because they are going through a divorce, they are now thinking that the property is now worth 10 million. And they are not affected with this property, but the other partner is, so they become spiteful. So they're not in agreement. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if a seller is motivated, it will always translate into a good deal. I thought let me put up that disclaimer for some of us who are starting off, because we might be able to see this and we're like, yay, it is a good deal. Not necessarily so. My last point that I want to jump in and to speak about here is that you as a property investors, when you see this now, you now need to go in and focus on solving the problem that is there. And then furthermore, how best can you create more income on this property? So you have identified the motivated seller. We now know the characteristics of them. So which means that we are good. But now how do you make this deal to become a good deal? It's about dancing with the deal itself to see how best you can make the most out of the deal in its current state with the owners who are motivated. And my friends, that is how you can create a good deal from motivated sellers. I hope this video has been of great help for you. And if you have enjoyed this, well, thank you for watching. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It is I, your boy, TJ. We'll see you on the next video.